and that sort of thing, and committee appointments and all such things.
Okay.
My two starts, we've always had an organizational meeting at the first of the
I
month.
think it's a good idea to do that.
I am gonna ask you for two other items to be referred.
Okay.
If you will. We're trying to figure out three-phase service over to the industrial park and to the Gravit Farm. Right now, there is none, and we are at a loggerhead with Southside Electric.
Good luck.
Building, I'm gonna go buildings and properties on that.
Bingo. I think we've got some things that we'd like to discuss with council. None of them inexpensive, but all of them, I think, ultimately necessary to try to get the ball rolling. And the second item is our line of credit that we use for VDOT projects we've paid it all back, and we've told them to go ahead and close it because the rates had reset, and it's not terribly competitive when we just allow those rates to continue to increase. We'd like to rebid it again. And
I'd refer that to finance.
Just something you need us to take up before July 1?
No, I don't think we're in crisis, but
Okay.
for the East End projects, okay, but VDOT is really slow in reimbursing, so specifically for VDOT.
Okay.
I've asked you about this, but I will bring it up.
Please do.
We need to do something with Beach Cliff.
Oh, the road down there.
Yes.
That could have been a crazy, terribly tragic accident on one of the least roads you expect to have a tragic bus wreck. You expect a tragic bus wreck out in the county on 460, not there. That was a close call. Brief history, I asked the town manager after the bus wreck, and he said, we discussed it when you first became manager. Briefly, I remember there was a hang up. Some of the folks didn't want to give up the right of way required to widen the road.
I think the issue is we found Beach Cliff was not in the state system of maintenance. We'd never been reimbursed for paving it or maintaining it. And so when Morgan was still here, if you remember, there was a question about a mailbox. Why somebody putting up a mailbox in the right of way and that sort of thing. So Morgan started digging, and he found out, if you remember, there were an appreciable number of streets in Blackstone that had never been reimbursed to the town, Spring Hill Road being one of them, where the town had never gotten reimbursed after the 92 annexation. Wow. To the amount of about $80,000 a year.
Ooh.
So those have been added. That was the issue with Beach Cliff, is that Beach Cliff, because of its narrowness, is only a one-lane road, believe it or not. Its description by the state is usually we get paid per lane mile, both directions. We only get paid on College and on Beach Cliff, one lane mile. So, Spring Hill Road will get paid for.
It's a little wider. I went out there and moved the yardstick. Beach Cliff Road is 12 feet wide, and the car is 6 feet wide, and the bus is 8 feet wide. So that's 2 feet. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. But
Is there a possibility of taking it on as a cost share?
It may be something like a rural addition project, but everybody would have to dedicate the right of way without cost. VDOT wouldn't pay for it. And I don't know if that's the general consensus of the residents down there. It may be with some others may
There's
not
too
be.
many folks living down there now. But when it first opened, it wasn't that many folks down there.
that is true, and it's not to sound like a smart aleck, but it's, you know, because I grew up riding bicycles down that road as a kid. The road is the same width it's been. I mean, it's, you know, no one narrowed it. No one, when they said, let's shrink the road real quick while no one's looking, you know, but I guess probably what's going to happen, the more it's developed down there, this council or the next council may get pressure to say, look, we want the road widened. And that's going to fall on that next council to decide what to do.
And that's why I'm bringing it up now. Let the next council decide.
Refer to the street committee and take a peek and come up with options for just ride VDOT down there and see.
It's probably not the best idea, probably not the best place to send a school bus. A loaded school bus, I would probably not want it going down that road, just me personally. But I'm not in charge of school
I
system.
hate meeting somebody in the curves
Oh, anybody.
because you can't see.
I wouldn't want a golf cart and a bicycle to meet
That's
on
what
that
I was
road.
gonna say. I wouldn't take my golf cart down there with a bus coming.
No way. I will refer Mr. Scott's request to the Street and Light Committee.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have anything on, under Mayor's Minute other than,
On the college, the bus stop there on 4th Street. They, when the town, they cut the grass and didn't do anything to the bus stop, people came, those guys gotta walk a little farther because they ain't no place to stop because the grass growing up.
you're saying that when the grass was cut by a private contractor, VUMAC hired that contractor, didn't
They
they?
did it, they didn't cut it because people can't use the bus.
We can cut the grass around the bus stop. Happy to do
Okay.
it. We'll take care of it. We'll do it.
At VUMAC,
UMAC.
It's on 4th Street.
which they're fixing to get another letter, or we're fixing to, well, they don't have to get another letter, but they're getting a little high again.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to you after.
All right. I have nothing on the Mayor's Minute, though. I do plan to if you're a new incoming member of council, I plan to have a function here soon, but I've got to get a date straight with my wife. At this time, citizen comments. Anyone here tonight to address council on any item, any question before we go in closed session? We have a closed session tonight for personnel and consultation legal counsel. Anyone here tonight, this is your last chance to address your council. Mr. Wayman Mitchell.
What I want to talk about is the upcoming event for the police department.
Yes.
Conference is Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going into our picnics in September.
That's right.
Okay, so we have 5 picnics in September, and the coffee cart be periodically.
Excellent.
Thank you for your
Excellent.
support.
Thank you for everything you do, and you and Chaplain Warren. Anyone else tonight to address council before we go in closed session? I see some late arrivals. I didn't know if there was an issue y'all wanted to address. I see Mr. Yates. Y'all okay? Okay, very good.
I have an issue.
All right.
I've spoken with Mr. Yates about the alley behind his house, and I don't know who voted what, but I've told Mr. Yates I don't have the ability to bring it back up again. So I made a motion I was involved in the decision. I was on the losing end of the vote.
Not to vacate. I remember the decision by council was to not vacate that alley.
So,
because there was
but
some
I did
underground.
say, I did tell him that I would bring it before the council. So if someone else wants to bring it up, they can, but I think I've come right up to the line of what I'm able to do.
I think at the time, there was some question that David Ostrander wanted to keep it open for trucks or for whatever purpose. And I think if you remember on the second occasion, Mr. Davis came and spoke, and either he or Liz owned the house.
Behind.
The old
Cranton house, that's right.
And they were opposed to the closing. Are we using it? No, I think it's blocked off with, personal effects right now. I do think that there's some questions about what can and what can't be done. And, I think the chief has been involved on a couple occasions, trying to find some common ground. And,
Okay. Let me ask you this, and I asked the attorney this as well. Mr. Green has kindly brought the issue back up, and he's been very cognizant of parliamentary procedure. He can't, if he was on the losing side, he can't bring it back up. What if a new council takes office July 1st? Are they able to revisit the issue?
No, absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
and that would be my suggestion, but I'm just trying to, Mr. Yates is here,
for the
and
street committee, and we'll just take together.
Could the next council possibly, just thinking out loud, vacate a portion that Mr. Yates, that beside that house, or have a deal where the town would have the right to use it if necessary, but
well, I would suggest one thing.
Yeah.
I would suggest that you re-advertise, because we're gonna have 5 new members up here
True.
that heard the testimony and from the adjoining neighbors. If we're gonna be fair, let's be fair. So either someone else take it up tonight, or if you're gonna do it, Mr. Yates ought to get a sponsor from one of the new council members
yes.
and go through the process again. But I feel it'd be unfair just to, as much testimony as we had and we had a public hearing.
Oh, it was cool. That issue went and lasted about a couple months.
So that's just my suggestion.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. I guess the next council may get a request. Does anyone tonight recall how they voted, would like to bring the issue back up? Mr. Green has opened the floor. I cannot remember the roll call vote to save my life. I don't know if it was a split vote or not, and I know y'all don't believe it. I don't remember everything. Okay, well, we're gonna leave it open for the next council to I see one of our newcoming council members in the audience. So, all right, anything else tonight before we go in closed session? Any citizen comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session for personnel, the bus shop.
And consultation with the attorney.
Okay. Is there a second to Mr. Green's motion? Mr. Scott is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Philip,
Jason,
I forgot to
they
call
didn't
you.
get